And I guess the last big Xbox specific topic, um, Gears of War E-Day with no release date and it being a prequel, not unofficial Gears of War 6.
Uh, you want to go, Tim? Or
Gentlemen,
I
thoughts?
mean,
Yeah, I personally, bro, I kind of felt like it should have ended with Gears of War 3. I just kind of felt like it goes back to overstaying your welcome. Like, this is a particular shooter that it's literally like, okay, when are we going to really wrap this up? Because, or just like, go back to what I said, like, what is the spiritual successor to Gears? I do feel like, that certain IPs are just getting like worn out, bro. They're really just getting
Mm,
worn out. And I kind of feel like, people are so scared to invest into something new. But you shouldn't have to be. Gears of War served its time. And that's how I personally feel. Like, yes, the trailer did its thing. It was cool. It hit some nostalgia points, yes, but I'm not interested in it because, first off, yeah, I don't have the system, and second, it's just like, yeah, like I'm just, you could wrap up that universe already. Like I remember,
mm,
like our talk about Resistance and Killzone. The only reason why I feel like those are good for at least one more showdown is because of the things that were happening around the time with those particular games. Like Resistance
mm.
3 took a hit because of the PlayStation 3 hack. Um, Killzone Shadowfall was good, but it was a launch title. I don't think with stuff like that. Like, yes, you need launch titles, but I just kind of felt like after the launch, it just kind of just fizzled away, you know.
Mm-hmm,
And I didn't really appreciate that. So I do feel like both of those flagship shooters deserve at least one more chance. But Gears of Wars, if it's filling a void for somebody, because I know we all feel things different, good. But I do feel like story wise, like bro, there's only so much you could really do. So yes, that explains the prequel.
I think,
Okay.
what Gears needs to do. The prequel, I'm actually interested in it. I don't really mind, only because a lot of interesting things happened at that time. So it's like Naruto diving into the ninja war before Pain's people fell. Pain's entire clan got destroyed. You had the
Mm,
Salamander, you had the other Kages. How did they navigate the world? We know they're already dead, but those battles that they talk about in the history books, man, we needed to be there to see it, to see what level were they at. And we were only able to touch that when they got resurrected, and we knew they weren't even resurrected at full power, at best. So,
right.
bruh,
Mm-hmm.
could you imagine? So we're getting Naruto, but no, these guys. Listen, Madara would have a problem without a clan because of these Kages. You know how
Mm-hmm.
wild that is. So what pre E Day and Gears of War would be that ramped up. You know what I'm saying? Because Gears of War towards Marcus Phoenix Delta Squad being birthed, it's actually winding down. They got a solution, but this is like 6 months after the Pendulum War. So you guys didn't really get a decent break. You know what I'm saying? And now you got this enemy that came out of nowhere. So the situation to where they put the Hammer of Dawn online as a last resort, that's gonna be wild. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of key monumental moments that they mention in the lore that, oh man, I
Mm.
can't I would love to. That'll be a great piece. One prequel, and one prequel only to kind of go back. And what this game is, guys, believe it or not, it's not I wouldn't say a launch title, but it's so the team could get a feel for what the authentic Gears of War is, so they can carry that same momentum into six, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because same thing with Resident Evil. If you didn't play four and you tried to make four, good luck. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they needed to do that. They need this. This was a team effort project. Let's see if we can tell a good story. Let's see if we can get the best graphics that we can out of this Unreal Engine 5 story. We're gonna release it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever proceeds we get from this, we'll go to six, and we'll make six even better with the story intact. And that's all this is. That's why they did it. It's safe, right? You can't really mess up. You can mess up six on, and I think Gears of War needs to kind of do their stories like it's a good example. Not Warhammer. Well, Warhammer has finished stories.
Hmm.
Dragon Age has one set stories. Gears of War needs to do that. They need to finish one arc, go to the next arc. Finish another arc and just call it Gears of War's this, Gears of War that. Tell a different story, different enemies, different world. Do a Final Fantasy thing. Makes the weapons could be similar, the weapons can't be similar. Whatever, right? Add this, add that, and then just do that. The Marcus Phoenix saga is done. We got a new character, new saga. Does it take place on the planet Sarah? It doesn't, because there's no Earth. Just so you know, that's not Earth.
Mm.
There's no Earth in the Gears universe. It's called Planet Sarah. So I think they should take that approach from any other installments. Right after once they're done with six, tell a completely new different story. Call it Gears of something. Or you can call it a spiritual successor of Gears. But I think that's the direction they should go in. Gears of War E-Day is just so you guys can see what's going to happen. Versus, hey, should we remake 2? Nah, let's do a prequel to where we can probably get away with all of those things. And then we move on to the next. That's that.
Okay. I think that's fair. I mean, I do think you're right for a game that's been missing for at least 5 years now, right? I think that's the last Gears of War was what 2019. I think that is a safer way of approaching it. Generally speaking, you guys both know how I feel about prequels. I think they're to some degree. I don't care. It could be movies, it could be TV, it could be anything. I'm like the story of how we got here to me is not always as interesting because it's such a foregone conclusion of like these moments of tension don't matter. These characters that are introduced don't matter because one, these characters that I don't recognize are probably going to be dead, and anything that involves the main characters doesn't matter because I know they live. Right? Like I know where we're headed. So sometimes it's just like it's. Is it possible to do an interesting prequel? I do think it is. I think there's elements of it, like you said, Joy, the lore that can be helpful, but it just kind of feels like the same type of thing I've always had with prequels of like you're limited in the sense of like, well, you can't introduce a new weapon because if you do, people are like, well, where was that in Gears of War? You know, like it's just certain things that you have to kind of be very
You
careful
can't
with
destroy the
because
time continuum.
exactly they're just like, but wait, why did he do that? And you're like, it's that thing of like it's
Batman
a
Arkham
dance.
Origins.
Right. What happened to those gauntlet fish? Where did they go? Right. It's just certain things where it's like I haven't seen it done well often. So it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm not gonna knock this game for doing that. It's just like me personally, a prequel story is not where I'm interested. I'm curious to see how Gears of War performs on this console cycle. But as far as like the story, I'm like, this is where a spin-off book or media or Netflix show would have came in handy. I don't need to play through it personally.
Mm.
But that's just my thoughts. And again, that's no hate towards it. Just like that's how I feel about prequels in general.
No, 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 no.
Um,
Makes sense. Makes sense, man.